Westchester Boxing Club proudly brings you the Nicky Knuckles Show. I'm your host, Nicky Knuckles, and we're taping here from Westchester Boxing Club at 220 Ferris Avenue in White Plains, New York. We'd like to thank a sponsor, I Create Website Design, for your logos, business cards, and all your website needs. Today we have Douglas Gray. Douglas, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks a lot.
We have a lot to talk about. Doug, you're a professional boxer, and you're a personal trainer, and among the other many accomplishments that you have on your esteemed resume there, I wanted to start by talking about how you got into boxing and how you started out, and what was your first experience as far as boxing?
Well, I started boxing because it was my way out the house. Mommy gave me a curfew. When the lights went out, I had to come in. But if I boxed, I could stay out until 8 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. So I decided boxing was a good thing for me.
Excellent. And as far as, where did you start training? Who was your first trainer?
My first trainer was Sal Corinthi of the Yonkers PAL, in which I still work there. Great facility.
That's cool. And that helps a lot of kids that live in the city of Yonkers.
We help kids that live in the city of Yonkers as well as adults. We really help underprivileged kids, you know, children who are headed in the wrong direction. And thanks be to God that we're able to turn 90% of them around.
That's great. How did you transition from being an amateur boxer into the pros? I know a lot of guys, they don't make a seamless transition, you know.
I think what helped me a lot was that, first, the coaching. The coaching was very good, but what also helped me out was that I was in the top 10 in the country. So I was always training with some of the best fighters in the country, amateur-wise, and fighting international tournaments. And then I fought a lot of professionals, even as an amateur. You know, maybe I shouldn't say that because that's not really what people are supposed to do. But I actually did. I fought a lot of professional fighters, and it helped me with my style. It helped me to modify my style the way I needed.
Just so everybody knows, we're here right now with Douglas Gray, former world championship boxer. And Doug, the titles that you won were, I believe it was 2, was that NABF?
It was actually 1. Well, I don't count the Westchester title, but it was the North American Boxing Organization Championship, the Super Welterweight Championship of the world. That's the NABO.
And if anyone would like to watch this show, besides listening to it, will be on every Saturday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. You can also check out the websites for WFASAM.com, the WestchesterBoxingClub.com website, and the NickyKnucklesShow.com. Also, check us out on YouTube, Periscope, where you can tweet your comments and any questions or concerns on the show. If you have any questions for Doug, you're more than welcome to give us those. Doug, so you came up with a lot of great fighters, a stable of fighters out of the gym that you trained in. And you didn't just train in Yonkers PAL. I know that you went around to different gyms. Like Jimmy Santanzo was one of our trainers, right, you know, out in Portchester, and the Cage Boxing Club, which was here on Ferris Avenue. So you had the opportunity to work with many great trainers besides Jimmy. I know Kid Sharkey and Charlie Caserta, you know, all these great champions, championship trainers giving us little bits and pieces of advice as we could go along through our careers. What was that like as far as all the, I know, you know, there's a lot of great fighters in Westchester, Paul DeVores, Doug DeWitt, Cleo Daniels, Herschel Jacobs, the list goes on and on with Savarese. What was that like?
It was fascinating. It's really a privilege when you can learn from other greats, people who have done it or people who really know how to do it. Those gentlemen were like an encyclopedia of boxing. You know, they knew how to do things. They knew how to get things done, you know. And I can't overemphasize, you know, Sal Corinthi as a coach. He made sure I went to college. You know, I was the first person in New York State to get a boxing scholarship to Northern Michigan University because of boxing. So, you know, it was an excellent thing and a great thing. Boxing is definitely a way to keep in shape, both physically and even more so mentally. You
mentioned collegiate boxing that you went to college. That's amazing. I wish that more colleges had boxing. I wish that every high school had boxing. I think non-contact or even light sparring is something that a lot of these schools should entertain the idea, because I love football, but we just see a lot of kids getting injured and actually killed in high school football, but they don't give boxing a chance unless it's a private school or Ivy League colleges. Most of the Ivy League colleges have collegiate boxing programs. It's actually mandatory. Ray Barone is the head boxing trainer at West Point Military Academy. It's mandatory, male and female cadets go through his program. And it just, I think it's amazing that you got the scholarship and that you went there, and hopefully other people will be able to do that, and they'll get influenced by your accomplishments. Well, how do you feel about collegiate boxing, and did you do any boxing there at the college?
Well, the unique thing was it wasn't so much collegiate because we were the #1 team for the USA. We had Al Mitchell, who's coached 2 Olympic Games. We trained with David Reed was on my team. Vernon Forrest was on my team. All world champions and Olympic gold medalists. So it wasn't really collegiate. It was something that the United States Olympic Educational Center started. In fact, they just stopped it about a year ago. And that's normal. When kids don't vote, adults act up. Adults act up. They don't do the necessary thing. We have a lot of problems in these communities. New York State is one in general. You have a lot of violence, a lot of crimes and things of that nature going on. Send the kids to a boxing gym. I've never seen a bad boxer. You learn, you get humbled, because you can't beat everybody. Today's your day, tomorrow's my day. You might beat this kid up every day of your life, and then one day he gets you. So boxing teaches you a lot. It teaches you discipline. It builds identity. It builds character. It's a unique thing. But of course, politicians don't too much worry about the kids because kids aren't voting. So it's a catch-22. So be careful. So make sure you make your vote count this year. Ask Hillary, is she gonna mandate sports in schools? Ask Donald Trump, is he willing to invest in our children by making sure, make every student take some sort of sport. We don't know where our children is because they don't have sports, anything to play, so we're not going to find our kids. But if we give our children sports, and especially boxing, where you learn how to listen, you're not going to be getting coached by myself or by Nick, I'll call him Nicky, and you're not going to do what we tell you to do. You're going to do what we tell you to do. And the best thing about it is, we're not slouches. So the thing is, when the kids think that they know a little more than us, they can get in there with us and we can teach them a little differently. Very important.
I love boxing. It got me off the streets, and it's a very special thing to me, especially this location, this building is where the Cage Boxing Club was. And I was a troubled kid from the streets, and I was homeless when I was about 13 years old, so I was 21. I wandered in here to the Cage Boxing Club, and met Kid Sharkey and Charlie DeSerta and these great guys, and I stopped drinking, smoking, doing drugs, and changed my life around and got into boxing as an amateur boxer, and then as a close sparring partner and a trainer, and have to thank those guys.
I was fortunate. I've always been in church and all of that. I've never done any smoking, any drinking, or any drugs. The only drugs I was ever on, my mother drugged me back and forth to church. Other than that, no drugs.
That's the best one.